Here's the full timeline of the time jumper from its original creation to its final use by SG-1. Janus creates the original Lantean time jumper roughly 10,000 years ago. He then leaves Atlantis for Earth with the rest of the Lanteans. 10,000 years later, the Atlantis expedition drown and some escape using the time jumper. They arrive 10,000 years in the past, just before Janus originally left for Earth. He fixes the Atlantis shield power issue, is scolded for creating the time jumper, and has it destroyed, which is why there is no time jumper when the Atlantis expedition that we know arrive in Atlantis. He leaves for Earth with the Lanteans and begins work on a second time jumper, this time with Milky Way Stargate glyphs. He creates it and uses it to hop back and forth along Arkin's world timeline, jotting down important historical and future events on a stone pillar. The jumper is then abandoned for an unknown reason and is later discovered by SG-1. They use it to defeat the Goa'uld on that planet and then bring it back to Earth, presumably storing it in Area 51. Sometime later, they convince the Air Force to let them use the time jumper to go back 5,000 years to 3000 BC in order to steal a ZPM from Ra, as at the time he wouldn't know what a ZPM was, so theoretically wouldn't change the timeline as Ra didn't use it for energy usage. Once there, the time jumper is compromised, falling into Jaffa forces, and is eventually hidden along with the ZPM inside of a temple. SG-1 create video instructions on how the timeline may have changed, how to locate the Stargate in Giza, and how to dial the Stargate.
Okay, my name is Dr. Daniel Jackson. I'm part of a team called SG-1, and we have just traveled back in time 5,000 years. We're not sure we're gonna make it back. The chamber where you discovered this tape should be discovered shortly before we're set to leave.
Unknown to Daniel on the tape, SG-1's actions caused Ra to take the gate from Giza after the uprising.
Hopefully the timeline hasn't changed at all.
In present day, the Air Force searched the area described in the tape, yet find no Stargate. But they did find the time jumper when they found the tape and ZPM inside the temple. The alternate SG-1 then used the found time jumper to locate the second Stargate in Antarctica, and then gate to Chulak to pick up Teal'c. Once again, they time travel 5,000 years into the past to ancient Egypt to try and fix the timeline. They discover Daniel Jackson, the last member of SG-1, who has been in the past for roughly 5 years. They manage to correct the timeline by ensuring Ra's uprising goes to plan, with Ra leaving the gate behind just as he originally did. 5,000 years go by and SG-1 find a ZPM in the temple, along with video instructions on what happened to the timelines. The two time jumpers were not recovered. It is not known what happened to them, but it is possible that they are buried in a hidden temple somewhere in Egypt, as the past SG-1 would want to minimise timeline changes at all costs. Back in the present, this new version of SG-1 don't have to time travel at all. The time jumper found on Arkin's world has now never been used to time travel by SG-1. They never needed to, as their original selves did all the time travelling for them.